Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Grid and Grind podcast. My name is Justin. We have Ryan Nardone down below from the road, and then Jacob Elliott off to, I believe, your left, everyone, upper left. So, episode 4, if you guys have been following along, we greatly appreciate it. Please make sure you hit like, subscribe, leave some comments. Let us know what you guys liked, what you didn't like, what we can do better. We're still kind of playing the volume game a little bit, so I think I have it a little bit better this week. We'll see. But let us know how things are going for you. Don't forget to head over to team53racing.com if you're on iRacing and grab your season 4 short track pass. We
Season
are,
four.
yep, we are week 2 of the iRacing schedule for season 4, so still plenty of time to take full advantage of it. Not only do you grab setups from us, but you also get driver coaching, you get telemetry access, tons of other goodies. So make sure you head over there for that. We also do driver coaching when available or when needed. So if you guys are interested in that, join the Team 53 Discord. Should be linked in the show description. And you guys can grab that there. And if you are looking to upgrade your sim racing equipment, head over to our friends at Impel Motorsports and impelmotorsports.com. They've got a fully restocked MOSA catalog as well as next level sim rigs, which if you head to the Team 53 Discord, you can get free shipping on your next level purchase through them. So save you some money there. And then if you've got real race car parts, Impel also has that. So we can hook you up there as well. Boys, how was your weekend?
Pretty good. I attempted to make it up your way to go karting,
Well, you didn't
and we got
attempt.
rained out.
Yeah,
Well,
you
yeah,
made it up here.
we made it. We attempted to go, got rained out. So then I made my way south out of the rain and enjoyed a nice little weekend.
There you go. Donnie, you're on the road.
Yeah, no, it wasn't bad. Kind of hung out at the house all weekend. Had hockey last night.
Ho-
Scored, so it was good.
You scored a goal?
Oh yeah,
Let's
I
go,
should
Whoa,
have had about
Donnie.
I should have had
whoa! We
about
don't.
four, but
Can we find this on the? Can we find this on the live stream from the hockey?
um, it is on there.
Whoa!
Oh, how
They
many?
didn't
I did,
tell.
I did,
They
I
didn't
did not
tell me.
clip it though from last night. I can get
Oh,
it.
Chet, come on now.
No,
This
I
is
went back to
ridiculous.
watch. I went back to watch two clips. A 2-on-0 that we did not score on, and then had a breakaway, got around the defender, deked out the goalie, deked out myself, and then absolutely pile drove myself into the boards.
Oh, yeah, that sounds
Sounds about
accurate.
right. That's the
Yeah.
level of play that I expect from you.
Oh, yeah, now we get the good Donnie mobile internet.
T-Mobile. There you go.
Yeah.
Not
Great.
sponsored by T-Mobile, and here's why.
Oh, Jacob's getting a little pixel too. The show is just going.
Woo.
We are just going.
There it is.
Um, yeah, I think Donnie's gone. He'll rejoin us here in a little bit. But no, yeah, it kind of
Am I
sucked.
gone?
Yeah, oh, you're back. Let's talk about let's just dive in. My weekend was Sydney Laxton racing all weekend. So Road America, we gambled on
How was
Saturday.
Badger?
Well, let's hold on. Let's back it up here. We got on the road
Uh,
at 6 a.m. to uh to get to the track, and we got maybe about 15 minutes away, and I happened to check Facebook or have Sydney check Facebook because you should never check your Facebook while you're driving. And we saw that Road America was rained out. So we kind of flipped around and we had a choice to make, and that was to go race Badger Saturday and Sunday or to go home and try and figure things out. And we made the decision looking at the weather radar that it was supposed to rain at like 2 o'clock. There's probably no chance we were going to get the features in, so we chose to go home. And,
Hmm.
well, they managed to get all the features in before, well, the rain came and then they dried and they got all the features in before curfew. So that kind of sucked, but she got a great day at home. She got to relax a little bit and just kind of enjoy a weekend, which is something I feel like we really haven't been able to do it all this summer. And then Sunday, we loaded up and we got going at 7 a.m. to get to the track. Stopped at the BP station and got our gas that we're legally required to get for the track. And we unloaded and we were hot garbage. Um, she was like a second and a half off of what her lap time was the last time we were on that layout. So they used 3 layouts throughout the season at Badger Kart Club. We were just hot garbage. And I kind of chalked it up to her not being in the cart for 2 weeks. And then she's complaining about her brake pads getting kind of low. And so I was just kind of like, you know what? Maybe it's that. She doesn't have the confidence going into the corners, that kind of stuff. So after practice, we changed her brake pads, and that seemed to help. But she was still really slow. When she was going out to qualifying, I noticed that her right front toe was kind of towed in a little bit. And when she got done with qualifying, she got out, and I said to her, "Did you have to turn right going down the straightaway?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay." And I kind of knew at that moment, like, some of the speed that she was losing was likely due to the toe. It wasn't necessarily due all of it, or at least we thought at that point. So
Yeah.
we went back, and anybody who's ever set toe knows that it's really difficult to do. And when you're on a go-kart and you don't necessarily have level ground that you can really work on, like we just threw it in the semi-paved part of the pit lane and just kind of manually did it by eyesight. Got it a lot better. Um, and we went out for the pre-final. And so they do go-karting. The way Badger sets it up is they've got a um, what is it? Practice. Then we do qualifying, and then there's a pre-final race, which is basically like your heat, and then a final. And so the pre-final was 10 laps, which is a really good way to get good feel for the kart for a 15 lap final. So we ran our 10 lap pre-final, and lap one, I heard her hit the rev limiter about 10 feet before the start finish line on lap one. I'm assuming Donnie's probably flipping over, but it was just really
Oh yeah.
crazy to see that change, right? And then a couple kids went off track on lap one, and she passed like 5 carts, so she's running in ninth. And we're just like, before she went out, I think my last words to her were, don't fall, which is what I tell her all the time, but um, don't get lapped was our goal. And so, she's up there, she's battling, and then there's a really fast kid that was coming up on her, and he did wonderful in not running over her. Um, but he found a spot where he could pass her, and her lap time didn't get screwed up, his lap time didn't get screwed up, and he kept going. But she managed to hold off a couple more of them. She finished 11th in the pre-final, which we were ecstatic about. And she got off the track, and she just told me, she's like, "Don't change a thing, Dad. Don't change anything." Um, is what she told me. So I really wanted to do a gear change because I felt like she was chipping out really early. But we pulled her Micron data, and if you guys have a Micron, or if you're a Legend driver and you have an AIM dash, go grab the AIM software for it. Race Room, is that what it's called? Race something or another. Race Studio
Oh, Race
3.
Studio.
Yeah,
Yep.
go grab Race Studio 3 um, and pull your data and find someone who's just a tick faster than you, maybe a tenth or two faster than you, and ask to pull their data. And we've been working, another family that their kid is new this year. His name's Eli. Um, we've been working with them all year, and they pit next to us, and we get done with every session, and we pull the Micron data, and we go through it. And the two kids have really started to learn. Like, when we first started, I kind of had to be more hands-on in telling them what was going on and stuff. But now I can pretty much pull out the laptop and, I do the connection between the two, wireless connection, which is amazing, and boom, they take it from there. And I can go and grab a water or a turkey sandwich or whatever it is, and they kind of study it themselves, and they figure out what they need to work on, and then they go back out for the next session and they work on it. So this weekend too was, I think, the first weekend, Jacob, that I've let her start where she should for a final at Badger.
Oh, all right.
Yes. So she started 11th, and it was interesting, right? Typically, there's calamity that ensues at Badger going into the sweeper. So they've got like this really long front stretch, and then it goes into a really tight turn that brings them back into the infield. And it gets big calamity in that first sweeper, and then there's a a hairpin, and then there's a boot that they have to go through. So a left-right combo. And there's always wrecks somewhere in there. And the kids held it together this weekend. They all found space. They figured it out. Sydney kind of dropped back on the start because she was trying to. I think she was so hyper focused on getting single file that she didn't want to go through any of the corners too wide. But she did great. She was battling for position with another girl that's been telling her all summer long that she needs to get up there and get on her bumper and stuff. And she ran half, three quarters of the final right on her bumper the entire time. Um, until Sydney was trying to pass her, and Sydney was trying to go around the outside because that's really about the only way she can make the pass. And I guess the girl pushed her off, or I don't really know what happened. They weren't really talking about it too much after. They were joking about it, but um, she wasn't the slowest card on track, which I think this is one of the first times at Badger we've really been able to say that when everybody's finished the race. So that was really cool. Um, and then, we finished off the night by stopping at our favorite Culver's to grab some custard. Culver's of Cottage Grove. Huge shout out to them. They hook us up. So that was really cool to be able to have that. And like you start out the weekend and you just think you're just gonna be absolutely terrible. And you're like, do we just sell all this stuff and just be done? Or what are we gonna figure out here? And she, to her credit, I mean, she figured it out. The only thing we changed the entire weekend were brake pads, and which I knew those were going to need to be changed soon, and then the toe. And that was it. It was wild. Like
It's not bad.
I didn't know what
At
to
least
do
you
with
figured out.
myself.
At least you figured out the toe deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be big.
Yeah, and I mean it was. We pulled the micron data, and you could physically see like on the graph where she would come off to go down the front stretch, and it would go up, and then all of a sudden she'd have to turn to the right, and the RPMs would drop down. So like when she was in a left turn, the RPM would spike up because it wanted to pull to the left, and then when she was going in
Mm-hmm.
down the straightaway, it was just you could see that RPM drop, and that's really what clued me into it that there was an issue. Did I think it was going to be essentially she picked up 2 seconds a lap on what she was? Like, did I think that was going to be the case? Absolutely not. But I'm just glad too. I told her that I'm glad I trusted my instincts and I didn't do a gear change and I just let it naturally. Like we just did the toe change for pre-final and I said, look, we're gonna go out with this gear because this is the gear we ran last time we were here and you really liked it with this layout. And if this doesn't work, then we'll do a gear change. And it worked. Maybe a little too well, but um, it was really cool too. Like how we have Road America, Jacob, where she'll follow behind people and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
She really needs to work on now that she's able to be with other people a little bit. I think she's really gonna have to work on bump drafting and learning that. If there's anybody that runs a Briggs LO206 cart or knows anybody who has, how much those things are just momentum based. And the second you break momentum,
Yeah.
you're cooked. Um, so that's something now that we're really going to try and work on here the next 2 weeks that are left in the season. 3 races essentially, and then maybe run some fun runs this October. There's some non-points races and stuff that maybe we look at running those and see if she can mix it up a little bit. I don't know. It's a good weekend though. Did you guys see the video I sent of her battle for 11th in the pre-final at the finish?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, neck and neck for 11th.
Yeah, that was her friend Eli that tried to pass her, and he's like, when I realized I couldn't pass her, I let off because I didn't want to wreck in turn one.
There it is.
So they were pretty good. But that was kind of my weekend. Sydney Laxton Racing, playing crew chief. But
Hell yeah.
well, let's head on over to 007 Custom Gaming PC's iRacing update. If you're looking for a custom gaming PC, come see our friend Jacob directly across from me here. Head over to the Team 53 Discord, send him a DM. He will hook you guys up. Jacob's got a ton of experience on sim racing. He's not going to overbuild you a system for iRacing that you don't need, and he's also not going to underbuild you to where your graphics card is massive, but your CPU can't process it. So
Yeah.
head over there, at least kick the tires, see what you got there for him. So, first thing I've got is SimLab announced apparently a new 39 Newton meter wheelbase. They're also offering a similar model in 15 and 26 Newton meter. Reported pricing on the 26 Newton meter is 1,399 euros. By comparison, the SimuCube 2 Pro, which Jacob, that's the wheel you have, correct?
That is, yep.
Yep, that has a max torque of 25 newton meters. The Ultimate by SimuCube has a 32. So they're kind of moving the line on max torque up, it feels like, for the field. And I was doing a little bit of show research, and I think it said that like an F4 car or something was right around like mid 30s. F4, F3, and IndyCar right around a 30 newton meter for wheels.
Yeah. Yeah, which is, I mean, it's definitely a lot. Um, I guess if you're really serious, you're training, then that particular wheelbase is going to be good for you. But for the average sim racer, I think we all kind of agree like 12 newton meters is probably your max. If you're more of an enthusiast, you're looking at probably 21 to 25. But I guess if you're training to get in that F4 car, you're going to need a lot more.
Do you think too that some of this going up to 39 newton meters is more of giving people the headway, right? Because we talked about the clipping, and that's really all it's
hmm
going to be. You're essentially going to be able to feel everything that the car is telling you within your hands.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's the whole clipping thing. It's making sure you feel that spike instead of it wanting to spike but then plateauing. Um, no, I think I don't know. Personally, I think 39 is way too much. I think there might be a little bit of uh, call it ego in there where look at me, I have 39 newton meters and
Right.
SimiCube can only go, well, I only have 32. But I still think SimiCube is the SimiCube 2 Pro. If you're an enthusiast, the SimiCube 2 Pro is about the perfect combination for you.
And then two, I mean, when you're talking about this, I see a 26 newton meter wheel and it's
hmm
1,400 euros basically, which was that like 1,600, 1,700 US dollar somewhere in there.
1,650.
So where does that stack up on SimuCube 2 pricing? I mean, is that pretty comparable? Do you remember kind of what yours was?
If I remember correctly, I paid $1,200 for my 2 Pro.
So, I mean,
So
with
a little bit cheaper. Got it from Micro Center. It might have been on sale. Um,
Definitely was on sale then.
definitely was on sale. Um, but yeah, I mean,
I just looked it
I don't
up,
know.
and SimuCube's website has the 2 Pro for 1379. Track Racer,
1379.
yeah,
Yeah.
Track Racer has a pack for 1449. Apex Sim Racing 1449. It's not something we have at Impel Motorsports, so I mean, if you're looking at it, the most I think I can get you is a R21 Moza. Is that their biggest one?
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, we've got that. The R21 from Moza, Moza R21, I think is like 749, 899 for the base, plus your wheels. So it's probably right around that kind of that same $1,200 bracket. Um, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that strikes me is like, what is going to be better about a 26 newton meter at 1,700 bucks,
Yeah.
and then you still have to
Yeah. I
buy a
mean, you're
steering
also
wheel.
looking at detail. So let's use iRacing, for example.
Yep.
When you're looking at these wheelbases, you have something called refresh rate. And that's a kind of break it down in a simple term. That's how many signals the game can send to the wheelbase. So if we're talking about SimiCube and some other wheelbases that just got updated, but SimiCube is kind of the original to the iRacing 360 hertz refresh rate, meaning iRacing can push out 360 signals per minute to the wheel or to the base. It's per minute or per second, one of the two, but we'll just say 360 signals it pushes out. Now, we don't know what the sim lab is going to be at. We don't know if the sim lab is going to be on that same comparison or not. So it's kind of interesting to see what they do with it.
Right, and SimLab is, I think, best known for their sim rigs, correct? That's where they
Yes.
started, was with
They
sim
also have some
rigs.
pedals. Yeah, so their pedals are kind of somewhere in the middle. Um, but they do have pedals with their wheelbases now. It's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. Looking forward to reviews on it.
Right. Apparently, these are PC only, and it incorporates an advanced hardware with a DSP chip to provide low latency. And with
Hmm.
that kind of new chip and kind of some of that new technology, they have their own special quick connect system, which I saw some pictures of it online, and it looks absolutely insane compared to like my Moza,
All right.
the arrows, if you
Yeah.
will. Like it just looks wild compared to that.
Yeah. I mean the my personal opinion about the quick connects, everything should just come with the standard 6-volt pattern, and you should put whatever quick connect you want on it, and then have a cord that runs to the PC.
You want it to be like
But
the
that's
US.
my
You want it to be a
personal opinion.
USB-C charger, basically. That's what you
Yes.
want. Yes.
Yep. That way, like for example, the SimiCube that I have
Yep.
has their own quick connect. It's kind of a weird quick connect where you have to actually slide the wheel down and then put a
Yep.
pin through. Um, but you can unbolt their quick connect as a normal 6-bolt pattern, and I put an NRG quick connect on it, um, which is essentially just ball bearings. You push a collar back, the ball bearings retract, you pop the wheel off, pop your other wheel on.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what the Moza
It's the
quick connect.
exact
Yeah,
same
the
as
ball
Moza.
bearing. Yeah.
I ran a Moza wheel on my SimiCube for a while before I moved over to SimMagic.
There you go. I think Donnie's all settled in now. Speaking of
Yeah.
Moza stuff, like I said at the top of the show, Moza restock at Impel Motorsports. Let's try and get them to sell out. Normally, we get them to sell out in a month whenever they get their new stuff. So I know things have been a little slow in the US right now. People are really not spending a lot of money, but if you are at all looking to upgrade, head on over to Impel Motorsports, and they'll get you hooked up as well. And then we talked about our Team 53 Week 2 setups for a short track season pass are out. Videos were uploaded to YouTube last week by the Friday show, so we talked about that a little bit. So head over to our channel if you're listening on Spotify, and you can grab that. And then now we have a little project that you guys were working on pretty heavily over the weekend for the last little bit of our 007 Custom Gaming PCs iRacing update, and that is the Team 53 Dark Horse Challenge.
Dark Horse
So,
Dash.
Dark Horse Dash. Okay,
Dark Horse Dash.
there we go.
That's
So
actually what I've been working on for the past 10 minutes while you guys were talking about
I've
that.
I've got
Yeah.
thanks, Tony, for giving us your undivided attention. Wouldn't expect anything
Well,
less.
I have 27,000 projects with this, and
You literally
not
have
enough
like
time.
you have three things to do.
Three thi But you know
Jacob,
when you do those 3
what'd you do?
things and you
What'd
and
you
you
do,
bounce
Jacob?
around, I created the car and the setup,
And the schedule
Created
and
and
the
the
I
rule
car.
tested
book.
it.
And
No,
yeah.
schedule had half the input by me. Rule book was all your
Uh,
assistant, Justin,
Yeah,
which was
well,
then again put together by me.
I'm just
uh,
saying. But we've got what is it, 8 week schedule I'm looking at here with two
yeah,
exhibition
yeah.
races added on to the start. Um, I probably won't be there for this Sunday, just a heads up for you. But it's a sprint race at Summit Point, so that should be pretty cool. And then a sprint race at Laguna. I thought you were going to do a sprint and an enduro race for the two to test out the sessions.
Well, for the exhibition, we're just gonna run pair sprints,
Okay.
and then we get into our, um, 6 weeks of sprint races. So we go to Lime Rock, VIR, Long Beach, Watkins Glen, Sebring, and Sonoma. And then our 2 endurance races are Daytona and Road America.
And it looks like you've got races, I mean, even the week of Thanksgiving. So starting out October 12th at Lime Rock, season will finish up December 7th at Road
Mhm.
America. Season one, you guys said you want to do it for free. You don't want to charge anybody anything for this?
Nope, season 1 is gonna be completely free. Season 2, we're gonna get some community input from the people that we gather, and from that, we're gonna determine whether we want to, have a little bit of a cover charge to do broadcasting
There you
or
go.
prizes, something along those lines. Also looking for sponsors. and then from that we can see what we can work up. But we really just want this to be not as much as where you finish. I mean, with that, yes, first place, second, third in each division is going to end up with a trophy
Yep.
that's brought to you by Team 53 Manufacturing. But we want it to be more about participation. So as long as people are in there participating, you're guaranteed to have a good time.
So session layouts, I'm looking at this. You've got your
Hmm.
sprint sessions. The room opens up 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central. Qualifying is basically a 45-minute practice session. So qualifying starts at 9:45 Eastern, and that's a 15-minute session, which means green flag drops right around 10 o'clock Eastern time on a Sunday morning, which is a great time for racing, in my opinion. It's still nice and early in the morning where you're going to get done and you're going to be able to go do what you need to do before lunch, grab brunch, whatever. Um, but yet, it's not wake up at the butt crack of dawn to make sure you're on the sim in time. So we
Oh
got
yeah.
45-minute practice, 15-minute qualifying, race one, 25 minutes, and then a little breaky poo for a few minutes. Let you do what you need to do, grab some fresh coffee, whatever. Grab a liquid IV, use code JL53 at checkout. Grab yourself some of that for these races. Keep yourself hydrated. And then race two is going to be a 25-minute race as well in the sprint format. So you get two races on those days. Um, which is pretty nice. I mean, that's pretty solid. Nice 50-minute. And then the endurance weekends for Daytona and Road America are 45-minute practice, same as the sprint weekend. Qualifying's 15 minutes, same as that, with a 60-minute race, so an hour. Now, my only question to you is, we don't have the Dark Horse Mustang, so how are you guys? I mean, what in the world are you guys doing there?
Yeah, so for our replacement of the Dark Horse Mustang, we're going to take the Mustang GT4, which is already very similar to the Dark Horse R, but we have a little weight issue. The GT4 weighs quite a bit less. So what we can do with iRacing is we can actually add weight to the cars. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add about 550 pounds, and that gives us roughly the same specs as the Dark Horse R. Our next issue is the setup.
Yep.
So the GT4 car allows traction control and ABS, but the Dark Horse R does not have traction control, but it does have ABS. So we're going to be running a fixed setup in this league, meaning everybody is going to be on the same playing field as far as the setup is concerned.
Okay. And it's gonna be the same setup every week.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's really nice too, because if guys want to go ahead and practice, they'll be able to hop in and do that all willy-nilly, no problems there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. If they want to hop in, go practice, they know the setup. It's not going to change unless anything crazy happens, like we discover a fatal flaw in the setup. But past that, it's going to be the same setup the entire time.
There you
Both
go.
for sprints and endurances too.
Okay.
Yeah. Both for sprints and endurances.
Yeah, I think that's nice. At least you kind of know the car's gonna be predictable. Like you'll start to kind of know right-hand turns it does this, left-handers, it does
Hmm.
that. Um, all right. So rules, I'm looking through the rules, pretty light rule book. Basically, iRacing rules are in play, and race respectfully. Don't do anything that really makes the admins have to do any work, which we're the three admins, so I don't really want to have to work very hard if I don't have to. But we're gonna
We don't want to
do.
drop the people's elbow on
I
anybody.
mean, and I will. You guys know that. There's no problem there. If you're doing stuff you're not supposed to, I don't have time for you. I don't think you guys do either.
No,
And
I mean I
especially in
will
a
if I have to.
in a free league, it's like if you're just gonna be out there wrecking
It's
people,
yeah,
doing stuff, I mean, we all know when we're in leagues and we do things we're not supposed to do. Like,
yeah.
and you play dumb, and like everybody knows what's going on. So it just kind of seems like don't be a moron and you'll be okay. Sprint races, 16 incidents. Anything beyond that becomes a drive-through. Every 16 incidents, I think, is how iRacing does that, correct?
Hmm.
and
Uh,
then
Yeah.
25 for the endurance race. I feel like that's a lot. I mean, that's a 20-minute race. You get 16 incidents. You probably need to re-review what you're doing.
have you ever seen
Hmm.
Jacob run an endurance race? One of the
Jacob,
iRacing special races?
I mean,
Known for a couple X's.
yeah, but I mean, Jacob too has the ability that when you tell him, "Hey, bud, you can't get any more X's," it like
I
He'll
could
get a
clean it
couple
up.
more.
shuts.
A
Yeah,
lot
it
of
shuts off.
a lot of my X's are off tracks just because I like to push the limit.
Yeah, there you go. So we're gonna have sign up for the league in the Discord hopefully soon here. But join the Discord.
Hmm.
We'll send out an at everyone when everything's completed for that. Again, season one is free. It's all about getting as many cars as possible. It's gonna be Sunday mornings. Pretty relaxed. You just show up, run when you can. Don't be an idiot, and let's try and have some fun. I think is the general gist, right, Jacob?
Yeah, yeah, no, just looking to create a good community. Um, I mean, and it's not super serious. If you want to come in, talk about whatever, talk about Illinois football losing, getting blown out by Indiana, you can do that. You
Yeah,
can talk about
you.
whatever you want in there.
It was a rough weekend, I think, for all three of us, wasn't it, football
I
wise? I
mean,
was just kind of
I'd like to forget
ignoring
it.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. I want to forget.
I mean, I had the Badgers lose on Saturday, and the Packers somehow blow it against the Browns, which that might be the most embarrassing part of the weekend.
Oh yeah, with what,
Joe Flacco.
three and a half
Yeah,
minutes left?
yeah, that might be the most embarrassing part. But it happens in these games. You start looking ahead to next week. We've all been there. Let's flip over to real racing. Real racing this week is going to be presented by Overdrive Racing Oils and Lubricants. They're an independent AMSOIL dealer. Link to them is in the note or in the description for the show. Every time you use that link and you actually buy AMSOIL from them, it helps cover our expenses. I mean, we don't really have any for this show, but it covers our time. And it helps keep all of the other content that we have on the Team 53 page free. The videos, the everything else basically, and it helps supplement a little bit of our setup costs so that we're not having to charge people $100 for access to setups. We can kind of cut that down. So head on over there.
Hmm.
Links in the description below. But I know Jacob too. You got to be heading out here in about 15 minutes, so I'm going to kind of quickly run through some of this stuff, and then we can come back through. Four Crown Nats. Ryan is going to tell me that Dason Pursley swept the Four Crowns. I'm going to argue that Jack Hewitt remains to this day to be the only one who has successfully swept the Four Crowns, but Dason Pursley won the USAC portion of it, joining Hewitt in 1998, Kyle Larson in 2011, and Logan Seavey in 2023 as the only people to win all three of the USAC events. Hewitt remains the only one to sweep the weekend. Pursley was paid $45,000 for his efforts, $15,000 to win each race. Rico Abreu spoiled the sweep night with a win in high limit. I don't even know if Pursley was running high limit this week. Might have been. Um, Rico went eighth, started eighth to first, beat Giovanni Selzi and Aaron Reitzel, notably Brad Sweet making his return to Eldora that knocked him out of competition for a little bit, finished P6. We got Battle on the Bricks. Cadillac surprised a lot of people with a win in
They're
GTP.
strong.
Yeah, the Meyershank Acura was found to have a technical infraction post qualifying, so they were sent to the back of the GTP field, which essentially cleared the way for them. And then TDS Racing won the LMP2 portion of it. Pilot Challenge had 41 cars. Donnie's Ford Mustang led pretty much the entire race before getting passed by two McLarens with just a couple minutes left in the race. And the McLarens won with the Mustang finishing third. So not too bad there. And then we've got Tour Mods at New Hampshire. Pretty good race, I thought, what I saw of it.
What
We're
was
going
it?
to call it.
7 cautions for 43 laps, I
Yeah,
think.
but you're going to have that in modified racing. I'm going to call it a Bowman Gray finish, maybe a Bowman Gray type race.
Yes.
Uh, highlighted, you guys probably seen it on social media. Tyler Ripkema ran over Justin Bonsignor going into turn three. That's really the only way to put it. Put Nerf bar front bumper to rear bumper, and then had the audacity to door him as he's self-clearing in three. Bonsignor said That's great, sir, but I'm going to right rear you coming to the line. So Ripkema ends up wrecked, crossing the start finish line in first with more damage done to his car than he won. So that was really smart. We've got truck race. I mean, Corey Heim. I think I've in,
Time time.
yeah, I have in my notes Caden Honeycutt. I don't know if I take that ride now. It's going to be a put up or shut up season for Honeycutt. And is Heim really this good, or is it the truck? Um, was kind of my notes
Yes.
from it. Um, if Heim is really that good, look out. But it's also a diluted truck field with a lot more pay to play drivers, so maybe that plays into it. Cup race, Donnie's boy Ryan Blaney won plus 625 to win in the odds. So not really out there in terms of winners, but I don't think it was anything anyone really expected. The Gibbs team kind of stumbled this week. You had Hamlin and Ty Gibbs battling, and ultimately Hamlin sends him into the wall off of his front bumper. Um, Hamlin said it was a mistake. He expected Ty to give him more room going into one and just kind of did what he did. Um,
Mistake.
Well, it looked
yeah.
like too that Ty was slowing everyone. Ty was slowing his two
Oh,
other teammates up because
absolutely.
Bell came in and was right there on the bumper.
Right. Um, it just, I don't know. It's a cluster situation. Um, I have my thoughts on Ty Gibbs. I'll try and keep him reserved here, but a typical Ty, and then typical Denny too. It just kind of is what it is. F1 this weekend was interesting. All is right in the Formula One world when Max Verstappen wins. So we had that. McLaren kind of fumbled this week, which we joked about on the show that they would find a way to fumble it, and they definitely did. Piastri wrecked. You had Piastri not making it into final Q, which is interesting. And then a Williams podium with Carlos Sainz showing everybody what they missed out on in qualifying second and then finishing third in the race. Um, and then the other news that kind of broke this morning, Christian Horner officially released from Red Bull with about $100 million buyout. So if anybody would like to fire me for $100 million, I'm happy to take that job. I might even do the things that he
Nice. Oh my
allegedly
line.
did. And
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
listen, if you're gonna pay me
whoa,
$100 million to do
whoa.
that, that's the hot take point there. He's cleared to return to the grid mid next season. Tony, you're not telling me you wouldn't do that for $100 million. I mean,
I just wouldn't say that publicly.
well, it is what it is. Allegedly,
It is what it is.
allegedly he did it. Oh yeah, I had F1 notes down here lower too. All right, and then Super Motocross, which we talked about a lot last week. My take on this Super Motocross is just it was a way too late of a start for mainstream viewers. It's kind of the thing that
Hmm.
that dirt sprint cars and stuff fall into is that it's just too late for the casual average fan. It put on a heck of a show in the highlights that I've seen. It was amazing, but it's just too late in the evening. So coming into it, Joe Shimoda in the 250 class had a 10-point lead over Hayden Deegan. Moto won, Shimoda won. Deegan finished second, which set up an epic battle for the championship on a triple points night. Um, Deegan really needed to go all out and have something happen to Shimoda in Moto 2. And the way Deegan was riding against him and driving against him, he definitely was trying to make Joe Shimoda fall and have that kind of Hail Mary approach to it. Ultimately,
Hmm.
Deegan would be the one to fall and break his collarbone and put a big Motocross of Nations debut in doubt. And he ultimately got penalized for rough driving, which easily handed the win to Shimoda for the championship. And it actually dropped Deegan to fifth in points as a result of it. So that was well, I think we talked before the show. That's like the equivalent of somebody in NASCAR trying to pay somebody back and completely missing and cleaning out their car in the championship race. Like that's just you can't be doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
So like what Cody Ware tried to do this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see any of the race, so you got to tell me. But
He got loose. He got loose, went up a couple lanes. More like a Danica Patrick.
I would love to see those two wreck each other. Danica versus Cody Ware.
Oh yeah, here we go. Just constant missing.
and
Um,
there's a lot of comments
That
we could hit there, but we'll.
yeah, we're just gonna leave that one
Yeah, I
alone.
already got my one hot take for
Uh,
today. 450cc, Jet Lawrence was up on his brother Hunter by 6 points coming into the weekend with Eli Tomac, but just hanging out there in third place. Moto 1 for that Jet Lawrence won. Eli Tomac was second. Hunter Lawrence third, which pretty much I think gave Jet the championship at that point. They went out for Moto 2. Hunter won. Jet finished second. Tomac finished third. Clear cut top three all
yeah.
weekend. Um, I would assume in these championship weekends that a lot of these races and a lot of the top bikes are probably cheated up like NASCARs are. I mean,
Well, we kind of talked. I think that was episode 1,
yep,
where they do a lot with the sound. So their big um, kind of pre-race check is making sure the bikes all adhere to the sound limit, because a
right.
lot of these places are in fairly residential areas that have a sound ordinance. Now this is at Las Vegas is at a drag strip, so probably not as much, but they still go through the same sound checks. And um, there are reports that the teams do a lot with the tunes on the bikes, the mufflers, about essentially getting around these sound limits and then kind of undoing it for the race. So there's a lot kind of that goes on behind the scenes. And it's
Yeah,
also a lot of I necessarily wouldn't say cheated up, but you know, I don't know about you guys. I've kind of gotten into this. I'm pretty pumped for next year watching it. I think I'm definitely going to follow it a lot more closely. Um, it just seems like it's a lot about the rider's energy. You'll notice kind of riders hanging back for a couple laps, kind of catching their breath, and then they go all out for 10 minutes and are able to get a bunch of positions.
Mhm.
So it's pretty fun to watch. I was hooked.
yeah, I watched what I could before I fell asleep Saturday night. I knew I had to get up for go-karting, so I couldn't stay up all night, but I mean, I'm definitely back in. They gotta do something with the start times for me. Those start times,
Hmm.
I mean, that's terrible. It's just
Yeah.
way too late. Way, way too late.
Well, you will probably won't be watching them the first handful of weeks of Supercross season because they all start on the West Coast.
If it's at 10 o'clock at night, count me out.
Anaheim, San Diego,
If if they're starting at 10
Phoenix.
o'clock at night, count me out.
Hmm.
I can't. I mean, maybe I can with not having go-karts, but man, maybe it was the 5 o'clock start Saturday morning that we had, Jacob, but it,
Yeah.
yeah, that's way too late. We were talking about cheated up stuff, and I thought about, I saw a clip on TikTok.
Oh boy.
Tony Stewart, the dragster this weekend, time was disallowed. It was not on our show notes. It just kind of popped into my head. Apparently, there was an issue with the timing system that they found, so they disallowed one of his Q runs. Um, and there was a little bit of controversy. Another driver in another class came out and was talking about, them having different components on the cars that were potentially illegal, and they should just come out and say what it was and all kinds of stuff. And Tony basically said, "You can come on down to our pit box if you're into our pit stall. If you got a problem with it, come on down. Let's talk it out, and we'll kind of go from there." But just a brief note from NHRA this last weekend. So,
Interesting.
Do you think
um,
there's a lot of drivers that are kind of jealous of what Tony's been able to achieve?
oh,
Because they're just
100%.
early on into his career. Because what is this his second season in
Yes.
NHRA?
Yes, second year
And
doing it.
he's already won a championship.
Yes. And I think that plays a lot into it is that there's jealousy and there's guys that have done this their entire lives and they're like,
Hmm.
how the heck is this IndyCar turn, well, this USAC turned IndyCar turned NASCAR driver gonna come in here and do this to us? It just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure there is something in the timing, but I'm sure every single one of those other cars out there has similar things done to it to make it go fast. Because that's really what it is. And Tony kind of came out and said too, he's like, we have Dodge factory support. We're not going to go out here and put something blatantly obvious that, is illegal on
Yeah.
these things. Like, it's going to be the gray area essentially. That's where you're looking for.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, any
And if you don't live in the
comments?
gray area, are you really trying?
Right. Any comments on this weekend? I know you got to run here in about 2 minutes.
No, it was a pretty solid weekend. There was always something going on. Battle of the Bricks, Super Motocross, the NASCAR races. So for my TV, there was always a race on at some point. And then all of the one thing that we really don't touch on a lot is all of the kind of support series for IMSA. Me
Yes.
and Justin watched the Lambo race. That was pretty exciting. The Lamborghini race, Super Trofeos. So there's just all these small support series for these big events that doesn't get talked about that often that I think definitely need highlighted.
And they still cost $50,000 for the weekend to rent them.
Right?
Small
Support
support.
them.
Yeah, small support.
Um,
50
with that,
grand.
before I leave, with the support series, because in my opinion, some of the best racing, YouTube. If you
Yep.
just YouTube,
Yeah.
IMSA and look at their live schedule, it's not going to be posted in their videos. It's going to be a part of their lives,
Yep.
which you can go back and watch after it's live. Um, Go in there and watch those series, like it, comment, share love for your favorite driver because I mean this is what they live off of. And yeah, I mean, it still costs them a crap ton of money to go race these races, get to Indy, race at Indy, buy tires, fuel, body panels,
Yep.
change the oil afterwards. So definitely show love to them.
But what
Absolutely.
is nice is that a lot of those are free on YouTube. That's
Free.
Yes.
yes,
You
that's
look at
the best
IMSA,
part.
SRO,
Mhm.
DTM out of Germany. That
Trans
and
Am.
yes, it is
Trans
in
Am runs all their
English.
stuff. Yep.
Mhm.
Trans
Yeah.
Am, WRL. I saw the eye roll. I did it just for you. But with that, I do have to roll. Everyone have a great day. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next
Yeah,
podcast.
you should be here Wednesday, I
Hey,
think.
buddy.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, Donnie, I know you haven't said too much today. Ooh, I think I might have to flip my camera around here so that I'm facing you a little bit better. I can just turn. But really haven't heard too much out of Donnie today. Big busy weekend. What are kind of some of your thoughts on some of the racing stuff? I know you probably watched the mod race.
I watched a little bit in the morning, obviously with B getting up. I was like, oh, we're sitting on the couch. I was like, I looked at the time. I went, oh shit, it's 9:30.
Yep.
So I turned that on for a little bit and probably watched about 3 laps of actual racing. The rest were cautions. And at that point, I was like, mm-mm.
Okay.
But I mean, the little bit that I had watched, I mean, it was good. Just those things in the draft. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, they're. It's think of it. I mean, the whole end of Gen 6, a little bit of or the next gen NASCAR before they started doing this fuel safe crap
Yep.
was you stayed in a line, everyone was in a single file line. If you got out of line, you were toast to going to the back. And I mean, for them, that's exactly how it was. Everyone was in about that third groove, and if you were underneath, you fell.
Yeah, the mods run a really unique line there, and that's kind of interesting how they make those lines work compared
Hmm.
to like a NASCAR that typically you run a little bit lower in the corner. I know with the next gen they've been moving up a little bit, but it's still not the modified line.
No, but no, I mean, the that race is, I don't know, something about it is. And I mean, we talked about it. I don't remember if it was on here or not. Just the NASCAR weekend prestige in a way. We talked about
Yes,
Richmond, Wilkesboro. Like this almost
it
kind of feels like their Daytona
it
500 in a
is,
way, but
and they admit
yeah.
that it is. And I
Hmm.
mean, it's like you've got New Hampshire is like way up here, and then
Yeah.
I feel like Richmond, and I would put Wilkesboro a little bit below kind of where the Richmond weekend usually was, just in the sense
Yeah.
that there's not as much recent history with it. Wilkesboro, yeah, it's a historic track, but it's not. It's kind of a fabricated prestige
Yeah.
race, right? Like when I think
But
about
also too, you got to think everyone. I mean, essentially your list where you had New Hampshire up here,
right,
Richmond, Wilkesboro.
north,
Take that exact same thing, put it on a map.
yeah,
Everyone's from the
northeast,
Northeast.
yeah,
New Hampshire right
exactly,
there. You got to go a bit further down to hit Richmond, and a little bit further to hit Wilkesboro,
yeah,
and it that's everyone's big track up there. Yeah, you have your Stafford and Thompson and Riverhead stuff like that, but they're when they got to show up with the big show was always at New Hampshire.
right, yeah, and that's really what it was. And Bush North would be there with
Hmm.
them, and so it was really kind of a fun weekend that we don't
Yeah.
necessarily get now. But you watch any of the truck race too, or any of the cup race?
Watched a little bit of the truck race because that was what Saturday afternoon. I don't
Yep.
remember what I was doing then, but yeah, I mean Heim just took off. I was giving my buddy Zach a little bit of crap because he's on the 44 truck, and when I saw them, he had not the highest hopes, and then all of a sudden, Andres Del Perez is up in the lead, and I just texted him. I said, and I think he ended up finishing, like, in about 15th, but, yeah, he was surprised that they ran as well as they did, and he even said, he goes, "We should have won that race."
Ad-
'Cause there was a lot of
Admittedly,
m
yeah, I don't watch any of the truck race, which has become a
I mean,
theme for me this season.
they
I
had a bunch of cautions. I was
it's
surprised.
not even the on-track product, it's really the broadcast team that they have. Like
Yes.
I
That's a whole 'nother rabbit hole we can get
I
behind and get
I
down one day.
I can't bear myself to listen to it, just have it on in the background because the broadcast quality of it is so poor. And I feel like it's only gotten worse.
Correct.
Um, and I get, they're trying to give some people an opportunity to become a play-by-play broadcaster and stuff like that, but at some point you have to realize it's not working.
Correct. Yes.
Um,
Yeah. At what point do we pull the plug on this?
yeah, bring up, who's the guy that does a car show? Eric
Uh,
Brennan?
yes.
He's pretty good,
He does ARCA as well, I
yeah,
believe.
bring him up.
He's done a few of them, I thought.
Yeah,
Has his
I don't, I don't really watch
maybe
the
it's
trucks
ARCA
anymore.
that he's doing. No, I can't remember. I think maybe it's been ARCA that he's done, but he's been prominent in Cars Tour and he's done a
Right.
select few.
I think
I
it's
know
like
he's done one of the two.
The Arca National when it
Yeah.
like lines up with a flow race or something like that. He'll do those.
Okay.
But it just that broadcast really makes it tough to watch. And then you
Yeah.
throw in the on-track product that's really not that good anymore. Um, but you've got, Corey Heim just basically if Corey Heim and the Tricon team doesn't shoot themselves in the foot, um, they're gonna win.
124 laps led.
Yeah, like just absolute domination.
Yeah.
Was the cup race any better?
Give me a second.
I should know.
What did we say?
I gotta flip
8
this
for
camera. There we go.
45. I mean, it wasn't I mean, you had a handful of incidents, but I think the tire I thought the tire was pretty good. I know we talked about the tire last week. I think it played out well that with that tire. I know I had mentioned it. I don't remember to who, but it might have been with Jacob at one point. It reminded me of Martinsville, the fall race last year, with the rubber kind of not shredding, but like the dusting of it
Yep.
and all of that. Right behind the front tires was just black.
Wow.
That's how you knew the tire was wearing. Um, a lot of two tire stops, especially if they didn't get a full run it through. Um, but then kind of at the end, I mean, you go back to the Arrow game. Um, Josh Berry, I think he stayed out on two. Him and Chase at the end stayed out on two. Chase got swallowed up, and then Barry kind of just arrow blocked Byron, and then It was kind of a Barry versus Blaney, but Arrow couldn't do anything. I think Barry tried to make a few attempts at him, and Barry was probably better. And if you could pass, he probably would have and should have won that race. But and he couldn't do anything to get around him.
Yeah, I mean, you had Blaney winning, Josh Berry finished second, William Byron third,
Mhm.
Logano fourth, Chase Elliott fifth, Seabell sixth, Larson seventh, Michael McDowell with a pretty good run in eighth.
Mhm.
He seems to always do well up there at New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Must just be a track
Um,
that he likes.
I mean, 2,739 green flag passes, 10.7 per green flag lap. I mean,
So, pretty racy
I guess,
race.
yeah. 14 lead changes. So I mean,
How many of those were green flag pit stops, though, with the 14 lead changes?
it doesn't say. I
Okay.
don't know if I can
Did they get
find
green
it. It's
flag pit stops in the race?
yes, yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I would assume that probably a good chunk of those were probably during pit stops, which is always a stat that they casually leave out. But just kind of looking at guys in the back that we're kind of expecting some things out of. Kyle Busch, another terrible race, 30th. Bubba Wallace, 26th. Um, Brad Keselowski back in 23rd. Justin Haley had a really good qualifying run, ends up 33rd. Shane Van Gisbergen qualified in the top 10 on an oval, which is amazing. Finishes 32nd. I did see, I think he had contact with somebody in the race. I thought I saw on social.
Who was it?
SVG.
Yeah. So I think it was a restart, and they were already 3 by 3,
Okay.
middle of the pack. I think Bowman checked up a little bit, got loose something, and so SVG tries getting underneath him, which Bowman was about middle of that, probably about straddling that first seam.
Okay.
So SVG gets underneath him. Well, Brad Keselowski says, "I'm going to get even lower," and the exit of pit wall or that the inside safer barrier where it kind of juts out.
Yeah, there's a
Yep.
tunnel under the track, I believe, or
Yeah.
something there.
Tunnel's somewhere around there.
It's
But
where the
right
road
where
course pops out in one back into turn two.
no, so this was turn 2. So right where pit exit is,
Yep.
when you're wrapping still on the apron, all of that, right
Yeah.
before I guess the blend cone, whatever. The wall sticks out right on the inside, kind of where it curves to then go
Yep.
flat.
Yep.
Well, that little bit, Brad Keselowski hit that trying to go underneath. I mean, because what was it last year, 2 years ago? I feel like people ran
On the
the
apron, right
very
next to
yes,
it.
like
Yes.
very inside. So it looked
Yes.
like he was trying to do that, and the broadcast cuts over because it was not much that Brad hit, but he hit enough to leave paint on the wall. And sure enough, the NASCAR or the NBC cameras just zoomed right over and was like, "Yep, there's the culprit."
Yeah.
But then that just led into because then SVG spun out coming back up the track, took out about 4 or 5 cars were all involved with that, and I believe that's where the Justin Haley, which you don't see much, the modified car, with no front bumper, no hood, no nothing.
I did hear something about Justin Haley coming back out on track with that.
Yeah, he came out with no body panels. He still had the foam, all of that on the front, like it looked like a cutaway car.
Okay. Yeah,
But
that's what I said.
yeah,
So they're allowed to still do that apparently?
I guess so. I didn't think so, but could it be no? Because it was Truck and Xfinity on the short. Oh, they might be able to
I can't remember
because
the last time I've seen a cup car complete a race without a body panel on it.
it's been a while.
I mean, we had the DVP policy for a while, but I just don't remember.
And that's where I think this whole DVP deal, and I think even some of the drivers are still confused with it.
Uh,
'Cause
Everybody
sometimes
is.
it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. Um,
Everybody's confused by it.
yeah,
You know, it used to be back in the day, if you could get back out on track, you got back out on track and you just kind of let it go. And now we don't have that. But
Which I don't know, and I could pull it up points wise. Like I don't know why. Like is Justin trying to get another spot, and that's what they were. I mean, he's 30th in points. Suarez is
I think that's an
8 ahead of him.
obvious situation right now for maybe they're fighting for that
Yeah,
29th
the
spot.
yeah, isn't top 30, I think, the payout or the bigger payout?
I think so. I mean,
Or is that owners?
Gilliland's a
It might
few
be owner,
behind
but
him for 11 behind. So they might have been playing a little bit of a points game there. Suarez was
mhm,
already out of the race. If you can get back in, you can jump a couple spots. You
yeah,
know, I mean, that's probably where they're looking at is just that.
it
But
could be.
it seems pretty obvious to me that at season's end, I would expect a change made to the 7 car at Spire.
Yeah,
I
the rumors not been circulating, but there's been talks about it.
persisted. I mean, but you look at Spire as a whole, right? Carson Hocevar, 21st in points, Michael McDowell, 25th, Haley, 30th. Like, it's really not that far off from his teammates.
No.
But I
I think they
think,
definitely had a slower start,
well, they had the
'cause
whole
I
Rodney
know
Childers experiment that
y
didn't work out.
yeah, correct,
But, and I think that's where a lot of it was that the hopes for Justin Haley were playoffs. Um,
correct.
he was supposed to be the one to bump them into the playoffs, and I think their business model really needed it. And
Mhm.
you don't get it right now. So um, that'll definitely be interesting to see how that plays out here over the next few weeks of Cup racing that's
Yeah,
left.
the silly season's starting to I don't know if it's starting to pick up, but usually about now is when it starts to pick up.
Full
That
throttle, but there's really, I mean,
Yep.
there's just not a lot of movement. You're not going to see, you know,
There's not gonna be this year, no, next year, yes.
if you're,
I think a lot of contracts expire next year.
yeah, but I mean, if you're somebody who's in a ride, and this is something that Eric Jones has talked about, is he really has no reason to leave Legacy just because the only rides that you would really leave Legacy for would be like a Gibbs car or a Hendrick car,
Yeah,
like a top
that's
tier
it.
ride. And if you're not going to be in a top tier ride, there's really no point to leaving your current situation. You know what you got.
Correct.
They're happy with you. You're happy with them. Let's roll with it. Everybody in the garage knows what he has, you
Yeah.
know. But that's gonna be interesting, like I said, to watch. So racing on TV this week. It's a pretty light week. It's kind of that time of the year where things really start to slow down. Flow, I think the only thing they had this week was a night racing, Flow Racing Night in America at Tri-State, which is in Hobstadt, Indiana. So that'll be on Wednesday night. Dirt Vision, I didn't see a whole lot on there. There might be some other streaming stuff that I'm missing, but on the major Flow, there ain't nothing on this week. So it's a good time if you missed anything over the weekend to go back and watch anything from Indianapolis this weekend, all those previous races. I think it's a great time. If you got a Flow subscription, you missed Four Crown Nats, you can swing back over and watch that. Um,
Oh, you know it's this weekend
I
on
didn't get
Flow?
I didn't get all the way to this weekend. I just looked
Oh,
at
okay.
this week. But
Okay.
yes, this weekend will be a big late model stock race in the asphalt world. Valley Star 300 from Martinsville will be on. So there's always 100 plus late model stocks that sign up for this race. Where they take 40 to the feature.
40. So they split everyone up on qualifying.
Yep.
I think even if you like they don't take anyone off of qualifying, you like I think a couple years ago they might have taken top 4 or something like that. But now, they've revamped it, so, yeah, they split everyone up into 4 heats based on qualifying, top 10 from each heat, which usually it ends up being about 20. They've averaged about 80 something cars, so it's been about 20 cars in each heat. So you just had to finish top 10 in there.
Right. And it's always a rough and tumble, I feel like in the heats. They get really desperate
Yes.
towards the end.
Yes.
The first heat will always be really calm, and then usually by like the third or fourth heat, that's when calamity breaks. Usually it's the third one, I feel like, where calamity
Yeah. I
hits, and then the
was gonna
fourth one
say
goes back to being really
second or
calm.
third.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Yep.
last year it was the second heat that took forever. Because that was, I don't know if you remember that was with the Trevor Ward deal, getting the black flag, going a lap down, getting his lap back, and I think he went on to at least advance. And
Yeah,
I was sitting up on the tower spotting, and I was like, "Can we just get over this with this one?" Because I was the
yeah,
next heat. I
yeah.
was up
We'll
there
be.
for an hour.
I remember texting you about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I was next to Kevin Almond, and I think he was spotting for Trevor, and like I was just sitting up there pacing. I was like, "This is so boring," because it was just wreck after wreck after wreck after wreck,
right.
and all for that one heat. And then like I was like, because I think they're supposed to be. I don't know if they have time limits or not,
For the heats,
but
it doesn't look like it.
yeah,
And then for the feature, certainly it's unlimited green white checkered attempts, which
yeah,
yikes. Especially a track like Martinsville where you got the long straights, heavy underbraking in the corners where they're slow. It just
yeah,
creates an opportunity for wreck. But that'll be good. I'll be at Road
yeah.
America all day on Saturday with Sydney, weather permitting and hopefully funding permitting. We should be able to head up there this weekend, it's
Oh,
always fun up there. But we'll talk more about that kind of as the week goes on. Donnie, you got anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
All right.
I
Well,
know World Endurance Championships this weekend. I
what
did see that.
what is?
WEC.
Okay. All
I'd
right.
seen that earlier this morning. I think they're down in Brazil.
That'll work.
But yeah, no, other than that, I don't think I
Perfect.
have anything.
Well,
Stay on the lookout for the Dark Horse Dash later today,
if
or
you
at some point
guys
today.
if you guys have made it all the way through the show, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. If you're listening to us on Spotify, make sure you follow the show. It's fun to watch kind of the growth in that and all the watch hours that are coming from this, and that's really the point. All right, is give you guys a little bit of our hot takes, check out these watch hours, and just kind of give you guys a little bit more stuff. From us. So let us know what you like, what segments you don't like, what things you'd like to have us add to the podcast. We're always happy to take a look. Go find our partners, Overdrive Racing Oils, independent AMSOIL dealer, 007 Custom Gaming PCs. Sign up for your Team 53 Short Track Season Pass. Head over to Impound Motorsports for all your racing and sim racing needs. And please, please, please join the Discord and head to the Team 53 Dark Horse Dash. Um, and sign up for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll probably make some appearances. Donnie, you'll be there probably most weeks. Jacob will be there probably every week. And yeah, let's have a good week and enjoy.